Should there be a Little Nightmares 3? Let's talk about it. What is SmackNPie here? So I see ending of Little Nightmares 2. I go on Reddit, I read at YouTube comments, and I see a very heavy divide between fans who want Little Nightmares 3 versus fans who are like, you know what, it's done. The story of Little Nightmares 2, at least Mono and Six's story is done. So I wanted to pose a question to you guys at first. Should there be a Little Nightmares 3? And when I say Little Nightmares 3, I'm specifically talking about continuing the franchise and the continuity and the lore that started with Little Nightmares 1 with 6, then going to Mono and 6, and then continuing their story from the crazy twist at the end of Little Nightmares 2. So when we talk about Little Nightmares 3, we're essentially talking about continuing the lore of Little Nightmares, Mono and 6. My answer to that is, you know, there was a perfect small window and opportunity to really close the book on Mono and 6's story through a DLC. What Little Nightmares 2 is, in terms of the lore, in terms of the story, it's nearly perfect. The twist, the whole cycle, you know, putting both Little Nightmares 1 and 2 together and taking out events and be like, yo, this might have happened before or this might have happened after. We're in a time loop. This is a crazy thing. Should have said spoilers. In the end, when it is revealed that the entire time you're getting chased by this thin man is basically you from the future? What? Little Nightmares 1 might possibly the sequel and we're playing in the prequel? What? There's a lot of parallels here and there, and I feel like the ending really helps us, you know, kind of sort of start and end the loop in some way, right? So if there was any probability of continuing this lore, this story specifically, it should have been through Little Nightmares 2 DLC. That didn't happen. We've talked about the DLC content. We've talked about how much content there is in the game files that deserves the DLC treatment. There are so many stories, characters, you know, places that deserved their own DLC, but it's been a while now. It has been a while. It has been a little longer than expected. It is a little unprecedented. I'm not saying it's unprecedented completely, but a little unprecedented to not have a DLC for a game like Little Nightmares a year later. We're almost over 2 years now, so that's that, number one. And number two, Target Studios. They came out, the developers of Little Nightmares 1 and 2, and said, you know what, yo, we're done, the story is done, and now they're moving on to their own project. They even revealed a little teaser for their new project for the next. I'm so excited for that. So they're done with Little Nightmares. Then Bandai Namco, the publishers who own the franchise, they brought in Supermassive Games to do the port, to do the HD version for the next gen. So that's that. And an interesting detail is that Little Nightmares 1 had a couple of DLCs as well, so it still boggles me a little bit that why we didn't get any Little Nightmares 2 DLC. So now the question is, again, should there be Little Nightmares 3? First of all, there will be Little Nightmares in the future, because Bandai Namco, the publishers themselves, said that they're gonna look into it and they're gonna see where they can take this franchise. Obviously, they're gonna have to bring someone new to the table, but this story right here from Target Studios is done. Now, the possible future for Little Nightmares is going into a different direction, not calling it Little Nightmares 3, but just calling it Little Nightmares and then either Reborn, Origins, or something like that. Basically expanding this universe even further from Mono and 6, which is a good thing, you know, in my personal, humble opinion. You don't have to tackle the timeline of it if you go into that direction. The more games you have in a single continuity, the difficult it becomes, even for the developers, and the difficult it becomes to appease every fan in the community. And eventually there will be backlash, eventually there will be controversies. We've seen that with Five Nights at Freddy's, not gonna get into that. And Bandai Namco, they love this franchise because it does bring them a lot of sales. Bring in a new development team, give them both Little Nightmares 1 and 2, all the concepts and everything, and be like, yo, go crazy, make a new game. Don't have to tackle the previous stories, don't have to change anything from the previous stories. Get inspired, make your own game in this universe. And I feel like that would be crazy, that would be amazing. Even multiple protagonists in a single game will take it. Expanding more on this gameplay style. I expect that. Anyways, I would leave you with this question as well. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.